Hi everyone, Vegas film critic here, Gerwig here to review the movie Jackie, starring Natalie Portman as Jackie Kennedy. This is a fascinating film, and there's been so many movies made about the John F. Kennedy assassination, from Oliver Stone to like documentaries and all the conspiracy theories, was it the mob, was it the Russians who killed Kennedy? All these, just so many, the Warren Commission. There have been so many movies, documentaries, dramas, whatever, fiction, non-fiction been made over about the Kennedy assassination. America is obsessed with it. Historians are obsessed with it. But you know what? Here's a fascinating look at that event, at that tragic event, what Jackie Kennedy was going through. And Natalie Portman portrays her, because she was right there in the car, as you know. So she was there as he was shot, brains all over her outfit. And what happened over the next 48, 72 hours is just fascinating. Because when you think about the Kennedy assassination, you think about the country as a whole, you think about the transition of power, you think about the conspiracy theories, you're thinking who killed him, the grassy knoll, was there a second gunman, all these different things. But this movie concentrated on what Jackie Kennedy was going through. So think about it. It's a human study. What was she doing in the immediate aftermath of her husband being assassinated right there? The first 24 hours, then the 48 hours. So where was her state of mind? What was happening inside the government, behind the scenes in the White House? What was her attitude towards her children? What was her attitude and what was she going on mentally? So this movie, it's nice and short. It's short and sweet, meaning it's maybe like an hour and 25 minutes. But it really studies what happens to Jackie Kennedy and what happened during that tragedy. And it's fascinating. It really is. Listen to my voice crack. That shows you how fascinating it is. And Natalie Portman can convey not only the elegance and the poise and the grace of Jackie Kennedy, but she also shows just the heart-wrenching emotion that she's going through. Her husband just killed, right in front of her, brutally. The Johnson administration, all the movers and shakers behind the scene trying to push her out of the White House, trying to be, considerate of her feelings and what the tragedy is going on. But you know what? They want the White House. They want the transition of power. What's going on with her kids? What's happening with her attitude and for posterity? So what is she going to present herself to the country and for history? How is she going to compose herself? So you really see this fascinating study, a story that you've never heard of or even thought of. What was Jackie Kennedy going through the first 2 or 3 days of the assassination? All the details about the funeral, how she was very much in charge still, or at least she thought she was. People were trying to tell her what to do by suggesting gently, and she just pushed back. She was one tough woman. Of course, this is all based on an interview that she gave to, I forget what magazine it was. Maybe it was Life. I'm not sure. She was, the movie's like bookend by Billy Crudup, who's playing this reporter who's talking to her about these details. And you can just hear the voice of Natalie Portman channeling Jackie Kennedy. And also that famous White House tour, because, the White House is the people's house. But, now with, terrorism and all this stuff now, it's just like you can't just, wander up to the White House anymore. But she showed the White House to the people for the first time, and they painstakingly recreated everything. So when you see this movie, nothing is, historical footage. They recreated everything for this movie, right down to her outfits are amazing. I think her outfit that she wore that still had the, the brain matter and the blood, not to get too graphic here from Kennedy, I think I read somewhere they locked it away in the National Archives and it's not available for public viewing or anything like that for like 50 years or 100 years, something really ridiculous like that. So, but Natalie Portman does turn in a performance that's just absolutely astounding. It really is. It's unlike anything you've seen this year. I mean, she's on her way to win Academy Awards, and all the critics groups are giving her Best Actress, and she's really racking up the awards, deservedly so. So Jackie is just, and one more thing. Listen to the soundtrack. It is this weird, haunting, kind of screeching violins, it just really makes you uneasy as you're watching this movie. The music does not complement the movie at all. It projects it projects confusion, and it projects just mayhem, and just where's reality? Where is your mind at the time? It's just almost like insanity. It really is. I mean, this was a really fascinating film. I loved it. I think it's one of the best films of the year. So make sure you check out Jackie. All right, for more reviews and interviews, surf on over to my website at vegasfilmcritic.com. If you like what you see, I would greatly appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up, share, and subscribe. I'm Gerwig. Thanks so much for joining me. I'll see you next time.